Okay, here we go. So this is my second time recording this video. I love a good cup of tea. Because the first time I recorded it, my audio was going bonkers. And it took me forever to figure out why. But I think I've figured it out. So let me know how my audio is down in the comments below. And hopefully it's bearable. You know, I've been making YouTube videos for years now. And you figure out the software, you figure out the camera equipment, but something about the audio, every single time it's a struggle. I don't know what it is. I think it has a mind of its own. I think it's possessed. I might be watching too much of the show Evil from Paramount Plus, but still, I think there's something up with the audio, like printers. It's not a crazy technology that's brand new. Why is it that every time we move, we have to relearn and refigure out the printer? And why does it never work the way it's supposed to? I don't understand. I think it has a ghost. Our printer is haunted and my audio equipment is haunted. And that's the only explanation. That's all I can think of. Okay, so this video is the first video about the Wattpad experiment that I will be going through this year. And it's not the first time I've used Wattpad. It's not the first time I've used any of the different platforms I'm going to talk to you about. But it is the first time I have had a very concrete plan on what I'm going to do. And it's the first time I've had a complete product, my book, to share, which means I can focus exclusively on what is working in terms of building up a followership, building up a author brand, and a presence around my book. So, excuse me, socks would like to go out now, so everything must be put on hold for the cat. Say hello, Socks. Can you hear it? No, now she's mad. She won't purr. Say hi. Meow meow. And we're back. I have the house kind of to myself this morning. My kiddo is still asleep upstairs. And in a few days, this house will be full of 7 people. And it will be chaotic and wonderful and so full of life and energy. But for now, I have a quiet home, and it is lovely. I'm so happy. As an introvert, there's nothing I love more than just a quiet, empty space for me to be able to do whatever I want or nothing at all, which is often the choice I make. So, anyway, back to Wattpad. I want to talk to you about what this experiment entails. And the reason I'm documenting this is because it is very important to keep track of what you're doing when you're marketing your book or whatever it is you're selling. In my case, it's a book. And right now it's free actually on Wattpad. So I'm not selling it yet. I'm giving it away. And that's crazy, but I have a plan. So let me lay out this plan for you. And I'll walk you through my how I set up my Wattpad account and the other accounts that are linked to it that are helping me monetize so that I can eventually publish it, because publishing can be expensive. And I can do another video on why I've decided to self-publish as opposed to traditionally publish. So let me know if you're interested in that, because there was a lot of thought that went into it and some trial and error and experimenting. Okay, so here's the thought. I have experience in marketing. I was a copywriter for a few years ago, and we had a pretty successful business with that we ended up selling. Success is a relative term. Again, it's a topic for another video. And so I understand funnels. And funnels are incredibly important in building your customer base, fan base, followership, and leading them to an ultimate purchase. whatever it is you're trying to monetize in order to keep yourself afloat, keep the lights on, do the things you want to do. So my funnel starts with Wattpad, and every week I will be releasing a new chapter of my novel MotherBot, which is a sci-fi dystopian, cyberpunk, scorched earth, all the key words, style book with a strong female protagonist who is a cyborg, who is on a mission to save her girlfriend, who has been kidnapped by the corporate baddies that control all of the resources. And they have kidnapped her in order to... Ooh, is this a spoiler? I will leave that part out. That might be a bit of a spoiler. They've kidnapped her in order to use her as a means to an end. Let's go with that. And so my protagonist wants to save her because she loves her. And she's using a ragtag team, a found family, one of my favorite tropes, to do that. And they are going across this desert, and they are fighting monsters, and they are trying to survive crazy apocalyptic storms. Blah, blah, blah. There are love triangles. She has an ex who comes into the picture, an older man. It's a May-December style relationship. And there's a lot of excitement. There are chase scenes, action, there's a heist, there's destruction and mayhem, there's love scenes. I have put all kinds of stuff in here that I'm really, really proud of. And this book came from my master's program from Seton Hill. And so it's been looked over and marked through by my mentors, Maria V. Snyder and Kosoko Jackson, and my critique partners, Pat McCluskey, Emily Bowden, and Sierra McNew, as well as other people who are interested in reading it from the cohort who wanted to give me feedback. And now it's on Wattpad, chapter by chapter, and it's already getting a lot of feedback. And it's only been a couple of weeks. I am already ranking in some of the categories really well, and the book is doing pretty good. I'm very happy with the results and the progress so far in Wattpad, and I think a lot of that is down to the 2 years of work I put into this book and all of the hard work my critique partners and my mentors put into it as well to help me make it the best it could possibly be. So, as the book is released chapter by chapter on Wattpad, there are questions that engage the readers to make comments and chat throughout. I'm trying to use what I understand of the Wattpad algorithm to help the book rank higher so that it's seen by more people. And I'll show you some of that when we take a look at my account, the keywords that I use, the way I filled out the profile, how I've styled things, everything like that. But I've also created a Patreon account specifically for this experiment. And at the end of every chapter, I have a call to action to lead people to the Patreon. If they want more than what's on Wattpad, if they want the chapters early, if they want character profiles, maps, and artwork, if they want live Q&As every week with me. And I've also kind of floated the idea out there to the patrons about an audio version of the book because I really like to read it out loud. As anyone who's following me on Instagram or on the YouTube channel knows, there's already some of that out there. So once I have patrons going through, and I've already welcomed my first patron in just a week, a few days, I think, is when they joined. Once I've gotten all the chapters out on Wattpad and Patreon, hopefully by then I'll have raised enough money through Patreon to be able to get a little bit more editing done. I want a developmental editor and a copy editor to make sure it is super, super strong. I want to get a cover artist to design something exclusive. And of course, I need money for ads and things to be able to promote the book. So if I have enough for all that, and that'll be variable and dependent, then I'll start to release the book in 3 parts as 3 different novellas because of the length and the way the story is broken up. It works really well for that. Novellas are becoming more and more popular. The shorter attention span of readers these days, the bingeable content is something that I have been paying a lot of attention to, and I am incorporating it into this experiment because I am convinced it is the right move for this particular book after serializing it on Wattpad, then bundling it into 3 separate novellas on Amazon, and then once those 3 novellas are out, selling it as a book bundle together. So you can see I am using multiple ways to monetize. I am bundling the same product in multiple different ways, and it's all dependent upon the types of things different readers like. So I'm paying attention to what the readers of this particular type of sci-fi enjoy: softer sci-fi, sci-fi fantasy, strong female protagonists, serialized readers who then move on to books on Amazon and what they like to read. So I'm very much paying attention to the environment right now. Webtoons and things like that are becoming much more popular, and so I would like to see how this goes. Again, it's an experiment, and so part of that experiment is documenting it every step of the way, which is what I'm doing here with this video and this part of the YouTube channel. I also want to document this for other people who are interested in doing this, because I find it very interesting whenever I see someone doing the same thing, experimenting, documenting the process, giving honest information about what's working and what's not working. And that's what I would like to do for you. So if you're interested in kind of trying out the same sort of experiment, maybe you can skip over the parts that didn't work and put more effort into the things that did work. Okay, so right now, what's working? On Wattpad, it is really important to engage with the readers, and the way to do that, especially if you're brand new on Wattpad and nobody's reading your book yet to comment, go comment on other people's books, right? It's a tit for tat here. It's give and take. You can't expect without giving back or giving in the first place. So that's where I started, as I was looking for books that are similar to mine, in similar categories, and reading them, providing my honest feedback, and working with other authors, being collaborative. Rising tides lift all ships, right? We are a community, so we help each other. And so I come from a place of helping first before expecting help in return. And doing that, encourage people to come and visit my book and start leaving comments and answering the questions. And feedback is already very helpful. And so as I work toward the end of this experiment, I can start to make changes and make the book even better. Okay, so let's talk challenges. A good thing to do when you are experimenting, when you are trying new things, is to anticipate the challenges and try to prepare for alternative routes or ways to overcome those challenges. And for me, the challenges are difficult. One of them is that I have a very full house most of the time. And so getting some quiet time to be able to work on things in the midst of the house with all the people, and also because I work full time in the military, and having the energy to be able to put in adequate time to reading other people's books, commenting on their books, commenting on questions and things from my book, making videos like this, and making things for the patrons on Patreon. It's a lot to commit to when you already have a full-time job and a big family and a lot to do. So, challenge number 1 is finding the time, energy, and motivation. And that requires some sacrifice some of the time. So, for instance, I will no longer be sleeping in on weekends, right? I need to get up early, and on Saturdays, I want to go live on Patreon and talk with the patrons. And Sunday mornings, I want to create videos like this to document the process and give honest feedback. Now, that will require some grace on my part, and I need to understand that I am not going to be able to keep to that schedule 100% of the time. And I will have to communicate that to patrons and followers and things like that, because if I promise something and I don't deliver, that is going to impact the trust in the brand I'm trying to build. But if I communicate clearly what's going on in my life and explain why I couldn't show up for a live Q&A or why there isn't a video coming out this week, then that creates understanding and that helps build the community a little bit more, because it's humanizing, right? I'm not perfect. I have other things to do. I'm just like everybody else who has a family and has to work. So by communicating those things, that will help give me some grace and lift the load. But I am confident that with the structure I have, I will be able to keep up with this. And again, that is the reason why I decided to do this after completing my book, because now I don't have to focus that creative energy on writing the book and making it the best it can be before putting it out. I have already done that. I have put in a bunch of the work over the last 2 years in this book. I'm confident it is good. And now I can focus that creative energy on marketing the book and engaging and building a fan base and a followership. So for those out there who are on Wattpad, who are writing as they go and building that audience as they go, I would love to hear from you, because that sounds intense to me with everything else going on. To be able to write and edit and think through plots, and if you're a pantser, I don't even know, and then try to market and build a followership and everything like that. Tell me how you do it, honestly. I would love to know, because you must be a superhero of some kind, and I want some of that. All right, so first we're gonna look at the Wattpad account. And you see it's still fairly new, right? But already you can tell exactly what kind of readership I'm going for. This screams sci-fi with the imagery. You can see the cover of the book, very, very sci-fi. But first I want to direct your attention over to the About Me section. Over here, I've got a lot of keywords that talk about the kind of book that MotherBot is and the kind of things that I write, so that followers know exactly what they're getting into. I give them some very concrete, distinct information. I'm working on MotherBot, which is the project, the experiment with Wattpad, and then I'm also working on another fantasy book offline that might be an experiment in the future. Some what to expect, so that readers know what to expect. Fun facts about me, so that they know a little bit more about who they're, getting in the reader bed with. And then, wanting them to connect with me and share their theories, inviting them to tell me what they think. And then another call to action. So you'll see these everywhere, because I want people to know that the Patreon exists and that it has extras that they can get their hands on if they're interested, and the link right here that will take them to that and they can check it out. I've also got my website, I've got my Facebook profile, and then down here I've got a message that, again, is advertising the Patreon account. So you'll see that all over the place. You can see my reading list here. I've already been engaging with other writers to try to up my own, the help that I'm providing and getting that in return. You can see MotherBot is already ranking in technology. If we click on see all rankings, you can see the most impressive ranking is the technology. So I'm number 195 out of 24.7 thousand stories. And then if you scroll through, you can see I'm also ranking in a lot of other categories. Number 2 in soft sci-fi, number 2 in biomes, number 10 in dystopian. So this is all very helpful information, because if I then click on the technology, I can see the number 1 ranking and I can study that. I can look at their keywords, I can see what kind of story it is, I can go in and read and see all the different techniques and things that they're using in order to increase their followership and their fan base. And so that's really important. If you want to do well on Wattpad, you have to study those who are doing well. So then once you're on the profile, you click on MotherBot and it gives you the option to read, and it takes you straight to chapter 1. And so right away you can see, again, I've input some imagery here that gives away a little bit about the story. And I've got the chapter title here and the point of view. This was really important through my editing, is to make sure the point of view was very clear. So as we scroll through, you can see I've already got comments, people leaving comments and feedback. I have a chapter break right here that I decided to use another image for. And then as we get down to the bottom, I have a reader question right here that people can then answer down at the bottom. And so you can see I've already got people answering that question. And I've also got another call to action with an image for the Patreon. So on the Patreon, you can see there are chapters that have already been released, and Patreon members get a new chapter before Wattpad members. And then you can see I've already done my first live Q&A where I talked about a lot of the process and answered questions that were being asked on Wattpad, and talked more about all the different things that are going to be going on. So if you go to library, this is where you can see all of those things, and you can see I've scheduled chapters ahead of time, and I've got the next Q&A scheduled already as well. Now in the membership section, you can see that I only have one tier, and it's a $3 tier. And the reason I did this was to simplify things for me, because again, I've limited time, limited energy. I need to get ahead of any obstacles that will be in my way that will keep me from staying consistent. And so what I've decided to do is have one low-cost tier, because my goal right now is to build a followership. That is my main goal. It is not yet to make money, though in monetizing, I hope to be able to make enough over the course of a year to then put that toward the book, which is then where I will try to focus more on the monetization versus the followership, or building on the followership but having a main focus on making money. So if you're interested in this, I highly encourage you to check it out. You'll get exclusive character sheets, detailed bios, backstories, fun facts about all the characters, world building extras. I'm doing Q&A sessions. It says monthly to cover my bases, because again, I want to make sure that if there are obstacles in the way, I'm getting ahead of them. And it is better to undersell and over deliver. And so I have monthly Q&A sessions here, but right now I'm working on doing it more than once a month. So you can chat with me directly during those times about writing, questions, behind the scenes. I can talk to you about the master's program I went through. I can talk to you about my writing process, the book itself, anything and everything. And so as you explore this area, give it a shot. If you don't like it, no problem. It's only $3, which is less than a cup of coffee. All right, so if you're interested in any of that, I would love to see you in the Patreon account. I would love to see you on Wattpad. Any and all feedback is greatly appreciated. And if you use Wattpad, if you have in the past, I would love to hear your insight. I am not new to Wattpad, but I have started from a clean slate in this particular project, and things have changed. So give me your feedback, give me your advice, help me out here. If you use Patreon, I would love to hear more about that as well. And let me know all of the tips and tricks. All right, I will be publishing another video next week about this process. I will give you updates on things that are working and things that are not working. And I will answer any and all questions that you have. List them below in the comments, and make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so that you can get a notification whenever the next video goes live. And I'll see you next time. Bye.